Yes, I'm drinking and foaming because I really don't care because this topic is really depressing to me. So anyway, mm, um, let's just call this flavored water. Anyway, so something that's been on my mind is lately I've been doing some research into financial trauma because it's something that I think that I suffer from, and also it's a very interesting topic, especially considering that finance and personal finance is very emotional. So anyway, did you know? So I found this out during my research that all that it takes for you to develop financial PTSD is to have 3 months, three, just count them, 1, 2, 3, where your living expenses exceed your income, and you will develop PTSD. So somebody please explain to me, how does our country cope where we don't pay people a living wage? Like seriously, what do our people do who cannot afford all the living expenses that it costs to be alive and functional and actually get to work in this country? I mean, the neighborhood that I live in, I live 2 k's from a bus stop. 2 kilometers. Actually, it's a little bit more. Yeah. So it's quite a walk to get to the bus. And that's the extent of the public transport. Because, our country don't care about it. And yeah, the new mayor thinks that electricity is more important than giving people housing and public transport. Anyway, I digress. Let me have another sip. Um, so traditionally, financial PTSD was thought to be caused by traumatic, financially traumatic events, such as losing a job, losing a home, becoming bankrupt. But researchers and psychologists have discovered that having 3 months of extreme financial stress where your income does not cover your expenses, your basic needs especially, that generates the same response in the body. It's just terrifying, actually, to think that with this country's unemployment rate, the way that entry-level graduate salaries are like pathetic, and never mind the fact that once you start with a pathetic salary, you never fully catch up because of this utter nonsense of having to give your payslip to recruiters. Uh, so yeah, I'm actually astounded that this is the research that I've discovered, and this is legitimate research. This is legitimate research. I want to do more reading into it. Now I can understand why in the US they've actually introduced financial therapists. And I honestly think that this is something that we need in this country. The only problem is, and this is something that's genuinely worrying me, is that people won't be able to afford it. So many people need the help and they won't be able to afford it. And this is where the whole concept in mental health of environment and circumstances comes in, where you can have talk therapy and medication and groups, etc., etc. Up until a point, your environment needs to change. If you cannot be removed from the environment, you can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and be given stronger and stronger meds. It's not going to fix your situation. It gets to a point where you have to be removed from the situation. So, for example, if you're in an abusive relationship, it gets to a point where you need to be moved from that house. And if you do not have the resources, your therapist cannot psychologize you into coping with that environment. You need to be in that environment. If your work environment is terrible for your mental health, you need to leave. If you're burnt out in some cases, you need to leave. You need to remove yourself from that environment and you need to change jobs. But if you do not have a financial safety net or a cushion, sorry, and let's not even think about, I'm not even thinking about emergency funds because people don't even have the basics. And that really, really scares me. And that's why I'm indulging in flavored water, because thinking about these, that's just snuggles, but if you watch me, you should know by now. Um, the situation, it's just utterly scary. And I don't think that the people in charge, either they don't care. So I think it's actually just indifference. I think it's just indifference. They can't be that ignorant. They are woefully ignorant to what's actually going on in the country. And if somebody who comes from a relatively comfortable upbringing, comfortable background, I have 2 degrees, and this is how I feel. I don't want to know what people feel. I don't want to know what it's like for others. And this country is just depressing. Utterly, utterly depressing. And I honestly don't know what to do. There was a time when I would have gone into politics, but now I know better. Yeah, anyway, good night. Let me go and have more flavored water and play with my child. Bye-bye.